This is game 3. This one should be really quick. It's a King of the Hill map, and it's only like 10 minutes long. Coming into Illios. So I've been pretty vocal about this on Twitter and stuff, but whenever I see Illios, I want Baby Bay to be subbed in because he has a pretty good Pharah and he's the Widow player for the team. So they don't put Baby Bay in, I'm pretty sure. Let's get to the actual start. I believe Sinatra's in for this. So here we'll see. Yeah, Dante and Sinatra are both in. So they're going to be doing their Tracer Sombra strategy. Dante's become, at this point, like a one-trick Sombra. He's really good at it. And the team's, alright at working towards their EMPs and then working around him. The other thing you see out here is Moira. So what they're going to want to do, same as they've been doing on every other map, is draw them onto the point and play really close quarters. So I think that that's actually a pretty smart idea to run this comp. I think they may run into some problems because they're against a shield comp with a Reaper Roadhog. So they're never going to be able to touch the point unless they get a big ultimate. So they're probably playing around Dante's EMP here because that will destroy their comp. They'll be able to kill Asher. He won't be able to get away. Reinhardt won't have a shield, so he's just going to be swinging. No defense matrix, no self-heal, no healing from him, and no escapes from Shaz. So they're playing around the EMP here pretty heavily. Looks like Surefour actually gets taken down, so I'm going to rewind that really quickly. So he's just in the front line, and he's getting taken down by Nevix, Dante, and Sinatra. Moth actually gets a boop kill onto Asher, and Big Goose gets a kill onto Dante. So that's pretty weird for me. That's let's check out the positioning for both of those. Here is Shaz, Pichu. I'm guessing Asher went into the backline. Well, we see Moth there. I should turn up the quality again. Still not seeing him. I see Big Goose over there. And it looks like Moth just gets a kill there. So Asher must have been behind, and Big Goose was minding his own business, but didn't have his cooldowns up for his translocator. So they're down, or they're up 1 kill. Surefour and Asher, and that's all the damage from these guys. It's a triple tank setup, and then they rely on the shotguns from these 3 guys to deal a lot of damage. But Fisher and Bishu aren't going to be enough damage to win this fight and kill Nevix and Super through the healing of Moira. So this fight's probably already won for the Shock. Sinatra might want to throw out his bomb, just to finish the fight quicker. Hit it onto Reinhardt is the easiest target in the game, basically. So I might see something like that. But it looks like Sleepy just got 2 more kills immediately there. Just clean up kills. Everyone's probably firing on the supports because they know they're not taking a lot of damage from the tanks. So just clean up kills. And it looks like Fisher charges Super off the map, which is pretty funny. It looks like he was going to charge him into a wall, and Moth booped him off the map, killing both Fisher and Super. Pretty funny there. Won't matter. The ult percentage, he switched off Reinhardt, so ult percentage is reset. And now that the Gladiators have lost the point, they have to switch their comp off because it's entirely reliant on them getting to the point and holding the point. Alright, I'm going to back up a little bit. Looking at the ultimates, you still have Pulse Bomb. Asher was Reaper, he switched off, so this is like a full ult reset from these 3 guys. So they're not expecting to win this fight, and if the Shock are smart, they'll realize that, and they'll only invest 1 ultimate or so into the next, because, you can invest Moira ultimate first, and if Shaz matches it with his ultimate that's coming up, then you can use Pulse Bomb and guarantee a fight, and also make them force out their support ultimate. So probably just use 1 ultimate to secure the fight, and then if they match it with more ultimates, you can keep playing that game because you're always going to have more ultimates. So Big Goose out of position there, dies to Nevix, really good aim from him. Sinatra takes out Asher completely randomly, and then Pulse Bombs Shaz. Yeah, so like I said, 1 ultimate used, secured the fight. It was probably 1 before because Big Goose was dead. Big Goose didn't have ultimate though, so They wouldn't know that that's a point for them to contest really heavily. So now they're going into the second fight. That's my cat. So in this one, 5 ultimates over here compared to 1, 2. Bishu should be closer, but because his team's been losing, they haven't been able to contest as hard as Nevix has and get as much damage. So that's why Nevix has his first. Again, you probably just go in with 1 ultimate. You could initiate with Moira ultimate here, and if they match it, or they use Lucio ult, you can match it with your own, and then still secure a win while getting ultimates out of the enemy team. So that's probably the play here. And it looks like that'll be an EMP. Yeah, they got clustered really heavily. So they just use EMP and Moira, and it looks like Shaz actually uses his in return. So Moira ultimate isn't the biggest one to waste, to use in a fight like that, doesn't really matter. EMP, you know, it could have been saved. But what they're worried about is that Surefour is coming up on his EMP, so they want a guaranteed team fight win, which they take there. And then by investing Sleepy's ultimate, they secure it even more. Shaz, for some reason, fights back with his, even though an EMP on one side is pretty much a guaranteed team fight win. So there's the ult from Big Goose. You'll probably see Moth use his ultimate right here, if he can get enough targets. Sleepy's been taken low, but he's living somehow. Nevix is knocked out of mech, and yeah, he used his ultimate there. Bishu used his first. Maybe he used it second. So I'm gonna wind that back. Because we're watching Tracer, we can't really see what's going on. You can see Sleepy's taken low, but it's probably only by Fisher, because he's not dying from this. So it's probably he's not taking enough damage to die from. I am looking out for Moth because he should be using his ultimate here. Notice that the percentage, it's at like 80 something, high 80s. So this is the last team fight, and the enemy team just used their one big support ultimate, which is Lucio. Both teams have a Lucio, and then a Moira is kind of a worse support ultimate. But once Big Goose uses his, Moth can use his freely and pretty much secure this team fight win. So there's no real reason to save it here. Nevix gets a kill on Fisher. Fisher was diving Sleepy, I'm pretty sure. So Nevix was able to get a bunch of damage. Sinatra's able to build up another ultimate. Asher used his and it didn't get a kill. So the ultimates here is Fisher dies without getting his, because he started out on Rhine. Super and Nevix both have ultimates, and Bishu has ultimate, and then an EMP. But the thing about EMP for the Gladiators here, get away from that, is that you need to have all your teammates alive, you need to have solid positioning to use it. So the fact that they're trickling here and they're all dying means that the EMP won't really matter. So it's going to come down to who can stay alive the longest, and they have 2 tank ultimates to stay alive longest, as well as a support ultimate. Again, though, I think Moss should be using his Lucio barrier here. Sinatra just kills Big Goose. He was trying to confirm the kill on Bishu. Both Nevix and Bishu are taken out of mech, so they use their ultimates to prolong their life, and Super does the same thing with his Primal Rage. Sleepy still hasn't used his ult yet. Surefour still has EMP. So he's going to get a really bad EMP where there's no follow-up. He didn't even hack anyone of importance, it looks like. And Fisher's finally able to get back in, and he'll have ultimate to stall, but it's taking too long. And Moth's still holding his ultimate. I don't know, maybe he's... Like, nobody's dying, right? So it could be a right call, but it's a little risky. And now they get a full team fight here with, it looks like 5 or 6 from the Shock. To like 4 or so from the Gladiators. But they're trickling, and Moth just had his ult available, so there's no way they can win this. Dante throws out an EMP, which doesn't even hit anyone, looks like. Yeah, it doesn't hit anyone. Yeah, so that was one with ult management, that entire fight. Fisher only gets his ultimate at the end when they're trickling. So pretty lucky for them to win the first team fight into a comp that requires being on the point so that they all have to switch off. Next point is well. They're going to do the same comps, both of them. No point to hold here really, so they're going to copy their comp. These guys' comp. And it looks like they got the hacked health pack, which gives them a tiny little advantage, but could matter. So Yeah, not much to say here. Dante and Sinatra are both taking low because they're flanking, um, which makes Moira less effective. So Dante dies to Asher. I believe he was like half health. Can wind it back. Yeah, so he's been half health the whole time, and then Asher just spots him out and kills him. But then they get a kill on a Big Goose who's out of position again. Now they get to begin their original fight plan, which is to hug this close wall so that the Gladiators have to push onto point and fight really close, and they can get heavy AoE healing from Moira. Doesn't work though. Looks like Shaz and Sleepy both used their ultimates, and Fisher got his ultimate quicker, so he was able to use that and secure the team fight. I believe that Asher might have actually used a pulse bomb already, or he's been really slow, because Sinatra already has his ultimate, and Asher's only at 50%. So again, just reset. Surefour will probably use EMP this fight. They'll try and create a team fight around that, or try and use it into the Lucio barrier, but that's a bit unnecessary. That's not a very good EMP. It's actually really bad EMP. He only got 1 or 2 people, and Lucio was able to counteract it. Moth was. So that wasn't even good positioning from Moth. I don't think they even knew that he had EMP up yet. So just really bad play from Surefour there. Yeah, but they go into a fight with sound barrier against no sound barrier. That's why support ultimates are so good, is they pretty much secure you the team fight. Now, what they should do, sit right here, which it looks like they're going to do. And then if they come from over here or over here, you just push them and then hold really close angles so that you can get AoE healing. I guess it's the same thing over here, but if they go onto point, then you have to push them. They're looking for an EMP play here. They hack Bishu and just use the Sleepy ultimate. Yeah, so Sinatra gets a kill on Surefour and another kill on Asher. So Sinatra's doing really well. Again, next team fight, they're looking for an EMP. Dante was looking for an EMP there, but they didn't need it. They got the hack on Bishu, and they used Sleepy's ultimate, and that was all they needed. So he's probably not going to EMP that. You want multiple targets, and you can afford to get them. You just want to hit people with like escape abilities or defensive abilities. So like Diva and Winston, if he has his Primal Rage, are really good targets. Other than that, Shaz and Asher are good targets. Same with Surefour. Actually, anyone. Gets rid of Lucio's healing. I'm going back because I did not see what happened there. So they already have 2 kills there. So Dante taken low. Sleepy gets dove, and Moth is not with him. So Sleepy's gonna die here. And then they dive the back line. Dante dies because he was low health. Again, that's a problem with not the team. They're using 2 flankers and 2 dive tanks, and what they want is to be really grouped up so that Moira can AoE heal everyone, but they're not achieving that. They're flanking a little too hard. Sleepy somehow is alive. Moth gets to him in time and is healing him up. I don't know if he got a hacked health pack. Oh, but he gets taken down here by Bishu. And then Big Goose uses his ultimate. If Dante hadn't died there, he had EMP. I think that's why Big Goose felt safe to use it, because Dante died so he couldn't get counteracted with the EMP. And the team fight's lost, so Super's looking to escape here without taking damage, or he should be. Because there's nothing for him to take there. He even has an ultimate. Sinatra probably shouldn't be doing this. Yeah, so Super should be escaping, not dying. I guess he wants to stall the point. That never feels good though, as a Winston, because you're feeding so much ult charge. Surefour gets another ultimate that doesn't really do anything. I guess he hacked Moth, so Moth wasn't able to use sound barrier there. So it was a good call from Super there to use his ultimate. He's already up to 20%. He only really gave up probably ult charge to Asher, and then maybe healing from Big Goose and Shaz, so their ultimates. But he didn't really sacrifice much. He's close to another ultimate. Not close, but he's part of the way there. And they got like 20% from it. If Moth hadn't been hacked there and he could get a sound barrier off, that could have been a team fight win. So my bad, that was a really good call. This is a good combo when you use EMP, and then Sinatra's obviously looking for a pulse bomb stick there. You can hit targets and they won't have any way to escape. So if you stick a Winston, normally his gut reaction is to jump up into the sky so he doesn't kill any of his teammates, or maybe like Primal Rage into the Tracer, try and get a kill. But they couldn't do that. So if Sinatra had stuck there, which they didn't need to use, but they could have used to get a really big value out of it there. Come watch that again. That's just a lot of staggering. Look at Super's kills there. Looks like that's definitely going to be the game. So going back here, this is where they're hacked. Shaz dies with ultimate. Fisher uses his ultimate here, but his healer's already dead. He needs to do this to contest as long as possible. He probably could have afforded to do it later, but I think he would have died. And so Shaz dies first. He's using his ultimate right now for movement speed, so his ultimate's not good. That's gotta be it. So that was really good. They come with their ultimates well. And I think they were charging them faster because it seemed like every team fight, San Francisco had the initiative. So they were entering team fights and they were deciding to pop EMP, or they were deciding to pop Moira ultimate instead of the Gladiators doing that. So that's what gave them the advantage there. And they're up 2-1. Nice. Yeah, that was really good. And the EMPs from Dante were better than from Surefour. The only recommendation I would say is that they need to group up a little more. Their team fight is based around Moira getting AoE healing. And so if they have their flankers constantly flanking, like, I know that's your gut reaction as a flanker, but you should also know that your team comp is based around healing everyone. So Dante a lot of times was half health, or Sinatra was half health, and they weren't getting healing because they were still flanking. So I don't know how you really rectify that. Maybe you just do more frontline damage, and yeah, I think that's all you have to do. Like, Sinatra can continue to flank, or just have one of them, Dante or Sinatra, try and flank, and then the other one just stay with the team for front-loaded damage. Because you are just trying to charge your ultimates, and then maybe get lucky kills, but that's about it.